Hey friendlies, it's Carolyn and welcome back to my RV life. Today we're going to talk about my solar. A lot of you have been seeing it in videos and asking me about my setup. So today I'm going to go through my setup with you. I'm going to do a little bit of a review on my solar panels, the kit that I bought, show you how easy it was to hook up. I hooked it up within a half hour the first time. I'm going to show you that and then show you some of the improvements that have been made along the way to kind of make my solar life easier. So stay tuned. Here we go. I'm going to show you all about my solar.
Having solar as a boondocker, it completely changed my life. I bought it in January. I had it a couple of weeks before I installed it, and I got to tell you, it has completely changed my life. Before I had solar, I was just relying, gosh, it's hard to believe. I was just relying on my generator, which I had to run 3 to 4 hours a day, and I don't even think that was keeping my batteries charged, but charged enough. So the solar, I have 200 watts here. This is a Renogy solar panel kit. So each panel is 100 watts, and it was super easy to set up. It came as a kit with all the wires. Behind each panel, you have wires that came connected. So out of each panel, you have 2 wires coming out. And of course, one is positive, one is negative. And then you plug those positive and negative into the connectors here. There's a positive and a negative. Came as a separate wire that runs, or separate cable that runs, that you connect then to the controller. And on the controller here, you see you have an input here. For the solar and an output to the battery. And the control, the solar kit came with, I think if I remember, two sets of wires that you have to connect. This cable, which is the connector to the solar panel, super easy. Basically what you're doing is you're taking 2 solar panels, 4 wires, and siphoning it down to 2 wires so that those 2 wires can then go into the positive and the negative posts in the controller. So basically that's all you're doing is you're siphoning, there's another word and I can't think of what, channeling the energy from these 2 panels into 2 cables, a positive and a negative, that to then go into the controller, which is then going to go into the battery to charge the battery. When you pull this out of the kit, the first thing you want to do is identify the negative and positive cables. And what I did here is put red electrical tape on the positive so that you never confuse, never hook it up wrong. Always mark your positive with red. I had a smaller solar panel that without my glasses I connected backwards to the battery and it fried, it smoked the battery. So you definitely want to make sure that you can easily identify your positive, which is red. Make sure you always hook positive to positive and negative to negative. So these, you're going to connect the negative first into the connectors. So the negative from each panel, you got 2 panels, so you've got 2 negatives, and we're going to siphon that down, this is going to be official language here, into 1 connection, and then you do the same with the positive. You're going to connect the positive wire from each panel into the positive connectors, and you're going to get 1 positive output. This positive output is, or this output are 2 wires. Another tip is to always connect your black first, which is your ground. You want to be grounded before you connect your hot wire, which is your positive, your red. Otherwise you can get shock or spark or things like that. So it's always good to be grounded before you connect your hot wire. Once again, I have the controller, PV, which stands for photovoltaic.
and that's the process of converting sunlight into electricity.
The blinking light tells me that the solar is charging. The battery light here is green, which means it's charging. It'll actually blink green once it's fully charged. And then this
is where you set your battery type, whether you have a sealed battery, a gel battery, or a wet cell, or a flooded battery. And that gray button above is where you set the type of battery that you have.
So what my friend Badge did is mounted this for me. I was just pulling it, dragging it in and out every time I moved my, every time I moved and had to pull in my panels. So my friend Badge mounted this for me, drilled a hole in here. So one goes to the battery. This goes outside. We've drilled holes in the floor and through my storage. Oh, I don't know if you can see in there. There was actually a drain in here, so we just used that hole to bring the wire through that and underneath the rig. So what is really nice about this now is I used to have to drag the controller in and out, and now all I have to do is disconnect this wire from the panel up here, wrap it up, store it inside this storage compartment when I'm traveling, and then just bring in the solar panels. Now this is my battery, of course, like a lot of Class C RVs, it's underneath the step, and I have the Velcro there because the hooks that held it in place got bent. My friend Badge fixed those for me, these, because I'm impatient and I just slammed them on and bent them all to hell. So they didn't work, and I almost killed myself a couple times. Oh, this is the solar panel. This is what comes out of the controller. These are the wires that come out of the controller. The black is the negative, connected to the negative terminal on my battery. Of course, that's the ground. You want to connect that first. And then the positive goes to, or the hot wire goes to the positive, or the red connection on your battery. The one thing this kit did not come with is a fuse, so I stopped at a solar store in Quartzsite, Arizona, and bought this, which my friend Badge connected for me. The fuse protects the wire, so just in case the wire might get too hot, there might be a short, there might be, it might get stripped and the wire is bare and it gets too hot. This fuse is going to cause it to trip before it gets too hot and causes a fire. So a fuse is a really good safety measure to have. So this is how my battery gets charged. And then from here, an inverter. And I bought this inverter separately. And this is what converts my 12-volt battery power that is charged by the sun, by my solar. This converts 12 volt into 120 so that I can charge all of my electronics. So again, my friend Badge mounted this for me. I used to be tripping over wires in here. And he hardwired this into my power converter, my battery charger. So you'll see in here, he connected it with another fuse directly into my power converter. When I'm plugged into shore power, if I'm ever in an RV park where I have power, or hooked up at a friend's house to their electrical, the 120 goes through this converter and converts it into 12 volt. So what my friend did is hardwired my inverter here into this converter and gives me 120 volt power. When I have sun all day long, I can charge my laptop all day, my cell phone all day. I use just a traditional house power strip here. My camera batteries get charged here. Everything gets charged here. And like I said, as long as I have sun all day, I don't have a problem. This pretty much can run all day without draining the battery. I do turn it off at night, of course. Keep my battery on my laptop. There's Capone's tail. Keep my battery on my laptop charged all day, and then and like right now I'm not working and the laptop is charged and the camera battery is charged, so I just go ahead and turn it off to store power on my battery.
This charges my laptop's great, and I run my laptop probably 12 hours or more a day, and as long as I have full sun, I have plenty of power. And I have this backup battery because I thought, so I had two batteries that I thought I fried, and I was about ready to exchange both of them, but I had only exchanged one. I don't know why. I decided to only change one, which is good because my friend Badge did a load test on the house battery and there's nothing wrong with it. It just wasn't getting a full charge because I didn't have it hooked up. You have to make sure these connections are screwed in tight and make sure they're clean, and they weren't. So I was only getting partial charge when the solar panels were out. So anyway, I bought a brand new battery, and this is nice to have around because I've had some cloudy days, and if I have pretty much or when I'm driving, because my solenoid doesn't work. So if I'm not charging every day, I'm running out of power. So it's nice to have this backup, and it's charging right now. This other battery is full. My backup I've been using a little bit, so I thought it would be a good opportunity since it's a really beautiful sunny day and my other one is fully charged, to bring this one up to full charge too. So that's my setup. My lights run on battery, but of course I have switched out all of my lights to LED because they're much more energy efficient. So they drain the battery a lot less than traditional lights. So I've switched out all of the lights in my RV to LEDs. So here you can see, besides the messy paint job on my refrigerator, which runs mostly on propane, but it does have an electric switch that regulates the temperature and turns it on and off. So that is pretty much the biggest power use besides my electronics. And a lot of you have been asking, why don't I just mount these to my roof? Wouldn't it be a lot easier than dragging them in and out? So I have a few reasons why I don't want to mount my solar panels to my roof, at least not right now. Number one is because I don't always want to have to park in the sun. There have been some times in the summer when it was pretty hot outside, and I enjoyed being able to park in the shade and have a little bit of a cool breeze coming through my windows from shade trees and in the pines or whatever. And if I have my solar on my roof, I always have to park in the sun. So that's just not something that really sounded all that appealing to me right now. I may change that. The second consideration is cost. I went to a solar store in Quartzsite, Arizona, just to get an idea of what it would cost to mount on my roof, and it was about $1,000. So I paid, I think, a little over $300 for the panels and then $1,000 to install them. No, thank you. I'll drag them in and out. You know, I don't usually move every single day. I try to stay in one place 7 days or longer, and it's not a big deal for me to have to pull them out when I travel and then when I am in one place again. And the third reason I'm not mounting them to my roof is because, you know, Matilda is kind of old, and honestly, the fewer holes in her roof, the better. And I think that's true with any RV. You know, of course you're going to go somewhere and they're going to do it right and they're going to seal the connections and everything, but I'm just kind of living by the motto, the fewer holes in my roof, the better. The fewer holes in my RV, the better. And I also had the incident where my awning blew off in a windstorm. That was a crazy bad windstorm, and my awning blew off and caused damage to my RV, and I lost my awning. And so connecting things to my RV just doesn't, I'm not filled with a lot of security. I'm not feeling real safe about that. So for now, I'm happy just dragging them out and positioning them in the sun, you know, as I move or we're parked or whatever. And so far, the couple months that I've had solar, that has been working for me. So I hope that answered all your questions, and I hope that gave you a better idea of how easy it is really to install solar, how it works with the different electrical systems within your Class C or Class A or even Class B RV. I went through how to connect it to the battery, how to install the controller, how to hardwire the inverter that my friend did for me, and all kinds of information. So I hope you found that helpful. And until next time, just remember to be happy, be free, and be kind.